Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Third Opinion Podcast. I'm Elisha Hunt. Across the table from me is Ethan Duncan, who's coming down with a big boy illness.
I'm dying.
He's dying slowly.
Of sniffles.
Of the sniffles, which is as big an issue as...
Sniffles.
Yes, absolutely.
How are you, Elisha?
I'm good. I'm tired, though. Let me tell you this.
I would imagine so.
Let me tell you this, and I didn't say it on any of the podcasts before or anything that I was doing. I only told friends where I was going, so in case I did not come back, they would know where I was. I went to Wisconsin to see YouTube meme lord and my kinda internet pal, sorta, Gus Johnson. You may have heard of some of his videos.
Real funny guy.
Very, very funny guy. I met him in real life. He's as tall as me, which surprised me. Like, he's like just a little bit taller than me. I was like, well, because, you know, in videos, like, you can't tell how tall somebody is.
Right.
Like, you have, like, a reference. You're like, oh, he's probably tall. So I figured, like, he was average height. No, he's tall. He's a tall man.
It's like you have two celebrity sizes. You have Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Who is just a giant.
Who's, like, 6'5".
And you have Ariana Grande.
Who's, like, 5'1" or 5'2".
4'1". No, I'm just kidding.
4'1".
Basically, it's like you have like the smallest thing compared to the giant.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have Shaquille O'Neal, or you have, who's the funny short comedian?
It's like you have Peter Dinklage or you have Yao Ming. You know, and there's no in between. You're one of the other. I am a Yao Ming. Tom
Cruise is like not tall.
Yeah, which is like what, like 5 something?
He's like 5'8" or 5'9". I think Andrew said that he's as tall as him, and I'm pretty sure Andrew's going to be our episode guest number 10.
I thought you were about to tell me
our second guest on the 10th episode.
I really thought you were about to tell me it was going to be Tom Hanks.
No, Tom Hanks is like 6'1" or 6'2".
No, I thought you were going to tell me that Tom Hanks
was going to be our
next guest. I was getting real excited. But Andrew, I guess we'll have to do.
Yeah.
Close. I guess. Can we dress him up like Tom Hanks?
We can dress Andrew up like Tom Hanks. I think he'll enjoy that.
Just that way he can like just pretend to be Tom Hanks. So Tom.
We'll have to have him like dress up as Tom Hanks and also do a voice. You know?
Well, that's a very good question.
He'll have to do both. Like, I don't know if that's
he's got to commit.
Well, if he dresses up like Tom Hanks, though, like, you won't be able to tell over the radio. Yeah, and we don't have a camera yet. Like, I have a webcam.
You can watch him on the radio.
You can't watch
Imagination. Imagine it's Tom.
Imagine it's Tom Hanks, but, like, not.
Tom Hanks is 6 foot.
6 foot even.
On the nose. According to Dr. Google.
Dr. Google.
Who has a PhD in everything.
And just about everything, yeah, for real. That's what you call a true statement.
So how was this wonderful, magical journey into small town Wisconsin?
It was a big small journey. Like it started September 1st. Gus Johnson made a video called Par 9 Premiere, Come See Us. And he lives in Wisconsin. He's going to move out to LA. I talked to him for like
what is Par 9?
Par 9 is a kickstarted, essentially comedy YouTube series. Each episode's about 15 minutes long.
Okay.
And there's 4 episodes. And I put down, 10, 15. I don't remember how much it was. It was worth it, though, like every bit. And he wanted to raise $4,000 to get his show going.
Right.
And I think he got like 7,000 on Kickstarter. And,
second season.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
I'm really hoping so. And Gus has also been on like a couple episodes of another YouTube channel called Sugar Pine 7. They do really funny, like ridiculous nonsense humor, which I'm just a real big fan of. And they're out in LA. And he was like on one of the episodes. And so let me go over the trip from start to finish. I think that'd be the best way to do it, because I pretty much document everything with Snapchat.
I was gonna say I followed along on your wonderful journey,
my wild ride,
snappity chats.
And this was only 3 days. So September 1st, he makes a video. He says, "Come to Menominee, Wisconsin, at the Abbey Pub and Grub. It's a bar just here in town." And I decided then, well, I have to go. I mean, I this is a once in a lifetime thing. I can't not go.
Right. I remember
go.
talking about it. We talked about it before we started the podcast. I guess.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I guess it was.
Whenever September 1st was. We're
It was
recording
two
the
episodes.
September 17th, Sunday around 5:20.
How about that's 2 weeks ago?
Is it really 2 weeks
It
ago?
is 2 weeks ago because we've been recording on Sundays.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Sassy
I'm
boy.
glad we're doing that on Sunday, not Saturday. Saturday morning, you can really tell in whichever episode it was, I'm just not there.
No.
And
You're checked out.
And I'm kind of here because of how long the drive was. It was a 14-hour drive. Okay, so let me go to the trip. We're getting
Run it in. Drive us along.
That was my hog.
There's your moped.
My moped that I put playing cards on the back of to make that sound. Did you ever do that when you were a kid?
I didn't. No. I actually had my very first big wheel bike. You know, my first two wheel bike. Well, it came with training wheels on it. So I had training wheels for a while, but it actually looked like a yellow dirt bike.
Oh,
and
that's
it had
neat.
a button you push and it went, wom, 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 wom. And it'd go, motorcycles. It was the most ridiculous thing.
I love that.
But it was incredibly funny. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm going so fast, Mom.
Yeah. I immediately started riding a bicycle with two wheels. I don't remember me doing the train wheel thing.
Oh, I started out with the big wheel. I had the Batman big wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? You know, they got the
Yeah,
really big wheel in the front.
Yeah.
Two in the back.
Yeah.
Whole thing's plastic.
Uh-huh.
Good.
The 90s and early 2000s were crazy about stuff like that. Like,
They
you
really
just
were.
don't see that much anymore.
I mean, you even had like the little, what were they? Those motorized little cars you got?
Yeah, like those C7 Corvettes.
Yeah,
and
the Barbie
Hummers
Jeep
or Ferraris or Barbie Jeeps. Yeah.
I remember there was a little Kawasaki one.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Ninja that I wanted so desperately for Christmas. My childhood was crushed and ruined. Never got one.
You never got. That's
Never
so
got
sad.
one.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
But I survived. You know,
You
I'm
lived.
still
You're here today.
I'm still upset about it.
Hey, that's fine.
Maybe one day I'll buy myself one.
A real one or the plastic one?
Probably the plastic one. It's a roll of the dice.
Truly. Okay, so I said I have to go. I can't not go to this once in a lifetime thing. I have to go up there. It's my chance to see Gus Johnson, who I've wanted to see for like more than a year now or whatever. And so I said, well, I'm going. And there's just no way for me to not go. It was dead set in my mind that I'm going. I told my mom like an hour after I saw that video because I still had to go to the radio station that day. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. How have you planned this out? And I'm like,
I haven't.
oh, I haven't. But it's 14 days away. Because it was September 15th when the show was. I was like, well, I'm just going to drive up there September 15th. I'm going to leave like at 12 in the morning or whatever. And then after like a couple of days, I'll realize like, ooh, that's a horrible idea. That's a bad idea to leave at 12 after a work day. So I took the work off for Thursday, the 14th, Friday the 15th, and Saturday the 16th.
Okay.
So that's my 3 day. That's the 3 days that I had, whether it went well or poorly. So I was like, all right, cool. And from much opposition from grandparents, friends, family, but also great support. Great support and much conflict on both sides. Both sides are full of conflict.
It's fine. I supported you, my son.
You and like a couple other people were like, I mean, yeah, I get it.
You have to.
You have to go.
For sure.
But my grandma, let's throw my grandma under the bus real fast. She was like, you're going to get shot and killed up there, you know?
I mean, she's concerned, obviously. You know?
She's the one that's traveled all across the United States twice. And she's like, you're not going to do so well up there. I hope you realize this. And I was like, whoa.
Little town boy.
I need you to please calm down. And so I think she realized 2 days before I left, she's like, well, just be safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Like she realized that there was not much she could do about it.
Right. I mean, you made up your mind at that point.
I made my mind up
There
after
was
I saw the
no
video.
turning back.
Yeah. There was no turning back as soon as I made it to Nashville. Nashville's traffic, and now I can say I've driven up north in some of the really motorized cities, which I didn't know that the north was so like everything was designed around roads.
You have to kind of think about the industry that was up there. I mean, you had
definitely, yeah,
Detroit, you have Chicago, you have Columbus,
Ohio,
Cincinnati. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Cincinnati, St. Louis.
We
have a lot of places that are definitely,
and they're all just kind of in a string, within a couple of hours from each other. I think Chicago to St. Louis is like
5 hours.
Yeah, I knew. I was gonna say it's like half a day's drive, something like
It
that.
definitely is. It's about 5 hours.
Not that far.
And then from St. Louis to Chicago, 5 hours. Chicago to Milwaukee, 5 hours.
Which is super weird because you can go from here to Chicago in about 10.5 hours.
It took me 9 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, like on a slow day, like 10 hours.
Midweek, definitely.
And from here to St. Louis is like 7?
Yeah, it does not take long at all.
So it's so weird because like to get to Chicago, you do like Santa.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of over into Illinois.
Yeah, it's set up very, very well. And I didn't realize that. Because my family did a lot of traveling with my grandma, under the bus again. We did a lot of traveling, like whenever I was younger, because I was homeschooled.
Right.
And I was like, well, you know,
kind of had those opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, my first country that I've gone to that's not the United States was France. Like, that was a big trip. And that was, like, close to when I started high school, you know, online high school and all that.
Right.
And so I could go to France in the middle of April, and the people over there like, oh, cool. Like, they get, like, oh, you know, family from North America.
Yeah, they're traveling. They're
essentially traveling. But we only went to France. A lot of people that did that trip went to England, stayed in England because of English, went to Europe for like a day or two, and went back to England. We went to France exclusively. It was also right before the elections and all of the voting for gay rights and all that.
Oh, wow.
Not so much gay rights, but like anti-gay to pro-gay things.
Right.
Right before. So we really lucked out. If we had done that any other time, we would have been either during a lot of bad protests, during a bomb election, or during an actual bomb or terrorist attack.
For sure. And it always seems like Paris has something going on.
Or France as a whole. It's like the same like 5 or 6 cities, it seems like. Mm-hmm. Like Europe's just not... I'm glad we went when we went. And everybody's like, yeah, we could not have gone at a better time.
Everything's kind of topsy-turvy now.
And now if you go over there, I have people on the internet that like go over there and they say that they're Canadian, and everyone's like, don't do that's a cop-out. But if you say that you're from America, they're initially like, oh, cool, you're from America, that's neat. But if they talk to you and you're nice, they're like, oh, they're a nice American.
Right. I mean,
but if you act stereotypically,
they're gonna treat
bad,
you how you act, basically.
Exactly.
And
people think that's not the case, and it is. It absolutely is the case. If you're nice, they'll be nice to you.
Well, I mean, it's just people being average people. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like here,
for the most part.
Unless you're just a
hick with
real trash bag
with a funny accent. The Milwaukee the Wisconsin accent is such a not a strange accent, but you can tell where they're from immediately.
Oh, absolutely, it's very distinct. Minnesota as well.
Minnesota definitely.
They're both pretty close, you know. They really get that, you know.
Yeah. I don't know how.
One of my favorite Wisconsin sayings is "ope."
Ope.
I don't know if you've ever heard that one.
Like someone just say "ope."
Yeah, like they'll run into something, they're just like "ope."
That's also a thing in England, from what I can tell.
Which is, I find, hilarious.
Yeah, I used to do it when I was younger. I used to be, oh!
A little bit of colloquial jargon there for you.
Colloquial jargon. You never hear either of those words ever.
No.
Okay, so let's go over the trip. Thursday morning, I looked up that evening, because I worked at the radio station 2 full days.
Right.
Which conveniently enough, I talked to Derek, like, before I left. I went to Walmart to get, like, Red Bull and snack something else.
Right.
And he was at the Walmart phone desk. And I was like, hey, baby. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'm like, nothing. I'm going on a trip to Wisconsin tomorrow. I was like, holy smoke. We were talking about his car and phones and all that.
Long way for a little boy.
Long way for a little boy. And I talked to him, and I was like, I've worked 2 full days the past 2 days. And he said, oh, boy, that's rough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And I'm like, yeah, it's definitely a rough time. And we were talking about that, and I was like, all right, cool. Talk to you later, bye-bye. And he's like, have fun on your trip, bye-bye.
Deuces.
So I got to go back to the Walmart desk and tell him I'm alive and I came back safe. I'm sure he knows that, though.
Hopefully so.
Excuse me. So I leave. I looked up the night before, when is sunrise? I was like, okay, Google. I'm doing the pause so it doesn't actually start any of the stuff. But I was like, when is sunrise? And it said 6:25 a.m. And I was like, we're leaving at 600 hours, son. We're beating the sun.
Right on track.
I left at 6:24. Well, I gave myself that extra time. I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Did not beat the sun.
Did not beat the sun. Close though. So, left the house 6:25. Took the interstate to get to Nashville. Nashville, insane, absolutely insane.
What time did you hit Nashville?
8. I think
so
8.
you hit rush hour. You hit morning rush
No,
hour.
exactly. And I didn't know that. I have never driven up there by myself, and I have never driven up there.
Horrendous.
It's bad. I did not know that. I hit rush hour.
8 o'clock or like 4 or 5. Awful.
The worst. It's the absolute worst.
You don't go anywhere.
Exactly.
Especially if there's a wreck.
And
there is always
there was a wreck. Exactly. It said 36-minute delay using this interstate. I'm like, well, this is just how it's going to go. Okay, so I was in Nashville at 7:30 because I specifically made the timestamp 6:25, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just use that as a timestamp. 6:24 is when I left, and I said 1 hour in, and I'm already stopped, so that would have been 7:30. Rush hour traffic. Didn't know that until I get there. Here's the picture. Well, I'm showing it to you.
I remember.
Fast.
I've seen. Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I got to stop for gas. Got to stop for gas beforehand because I figured it would be cheaper, and it was cheaper.
Typically.
Most of the time, it was pretty cheap. I'll tell you how much I spent in gas total closer to the end of the thing here. I'm pretty sure we're like halfway. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I didn't realize I was going to go to Chicago until I made it to Illinois. I was like, well, Chicago is 100 miles out of the way, and I'm not going to come back up here.
Yeah, there's no reason not to stop.
As far as I can see, I'm not coming back up this way. So I rerouted my phone. It's like, oh, well, it's 5 more hours to Chicago then because you're right by St. Louis. I'm like, cool beanies. I was going to be at the hotel at 8:39 in Eau Claire.
Right.
I wanted just absolute cheap. This was $101 for 2 nights. Perfect.
Not bad.
And at a Motel 6, mwah, beautiful.
Not bad. Not bad.
But it said, okay, well, it's 100 miles out of the way. And I was like, well, cool. A quick stop to Chicago, piece of cake. Never come back up here, probably.
So many mistakes you made going to Chicago.
Chicago is not a quick stop.
No, it is not.
And I did not know that until I made it into Chicago.
I mean, it's funny because you say that, and I just went to Chicago about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. Really cool city, neat place to see.
Absolutely beautiful. I took some good videos on Snapchat.
Yeah, really cool place.
I love Chicago. Great city.
You drive in, and you hit one toll gate.
See, I went around the toll gate, though.
See, the way we came in, we hit a toll gate because we were on the outside in Rosemont. So we hit a toll gate. And then another toll gate. And then we're like, all right, that's fine. And then another toll gate. 10 toll gates later.
What, really?
It took us like $12 getting in and out of that city.
It was absolutely free for me.
Crazy.
I hit no toll gates. I specifically said no toll gates.
Crazy.
Because I don't carry money around. Like, I use my debit card for everything.
Luckily, we had enough change to do it.
I'm sure you guys were like looking at me.
We were scrounging. I was like, I got one in my toe here, Like, here's a quarter.
Here's some loose change from my shoe. Well,
basically, yeah.
Here's pennies.
It was crazy.
I hit zero toll gates or anything. I specifically said, I don't want to pay for any extra roads. That's what my tax dollars go to Trump. And that's the politics for the week. I took a couple of videos. I went into just essentially downtown Chicago, like just the middle of Chicago. The places that you see in pictures and all that stuff.
Right.
And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I just got to take some funny pictures and videos. I did. I got exhausted because of how big the city is.
It is massive.
It's a large city.
You don't really realize, because that's the first, like, truly large city that I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Dallas.
Yeah.
I've been to a few, Atlanta.
Yeah.
But
and Nashville is like half the size of Chicago.
Right.
It's crazy.
As far as sprawling expanse and just skyscrapers.
It's such a big city.
It's massive.
I'm pretty sure it's like New York City, L.A., Chicago.
Probably, yeah. I would not
sure
disbelieve it at all.
Because I've been to the Big Apple, and it's massive.
And we biked around a huge chunk of it.
That's awesome. I'd love to go back up there for like a trip.
It was really neat. Really, really neat.
That'd be a rad trip for whatever, venturing, who knows. But I made the joke. I think it ended up in Chicago somehow. Because I specifically made the time to go to Chicago.
Right.
I was like, all right, cool. Well, time to get out of here. We're done with Chicago. I took a few pictures. I wanted to eat for lunch. I was like, that's not going to happen. We have to get out of here.
We should have stopped it.
For no reason other than to get in there to eat lunch. I was like, all right, well, we're done. We're over this.
Could have made a stop at Portillo's, man.
I should have.
This is pretty good.
I was like, we just gotta get out of the city. We gotta get out of here.
Dynamite chocolate shake.
I was like, we just gotta get we gotta get out of here.
So there's a joke that a comedian tells about Portillo's, where they tell him to get a chocolate cake milkshake, and they literally take a piece of chocolate cake, slam it into a cup with the milkshake stuff, and make a milkshake out of it.
That's funny.
Bananas.
That is really funny. So I get out of Chicago. It's around 3:34. I spent about 30 minutes in Chicago. It took me an hour to get in, it took me a good 45 minutes to get in Chicago, 30 minutes in there. It took me an hour and a half to get out of Chicago. So I lost essentially 3 hours of travel trying to make a, air quotes, quick stop in Chicago. Biggest mistake of my life.
No, it's impossible.
But it was absolutely worth it. I would love to go back. It really, because I've lived here my entire life, 19 years now.
For sure.
And I've been to big cities for a trip, but with family. It really jarred me. There's so many people.
Yeah, it's different. It's different going by yourself.
In the world.
Or just with, just one or two friends. It's really different.
It is very, very different. Because you're with you're with family and you're like, oh, cool, my family's here. We're all doing this as a family, whatever.
Right, like you know where everybody is.
But me going by myself, I was like, I don't know anybody up here. I don't know anything up here. And there are so many people.
Right.
It's definitely a very, very interesting and jarring situation. Here is me listening to Take On Me by A-ha. And we're done with Take On Me by A-ha. That was like on the way out of Chicago, which took forever. It took ages.
It really does. It's not, like you said, it is not a quick stop. There's no way.
And then I was supposed to be at the hotel in Eau Claire at 9. I got there at 10:46.
All things considering.
Not bad.
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad. A 14-hour trip turned into a 16-and-a-half-hour trip. Considering I left at 6:24 and got there at 10:46, I should have been there like almost 3 hours.
Right.
So the 3-hour delay in Chicago, noticeable. I noticed it bigly. That's my horn sound.
Wonderful buzzword.
I need to get a horn. I need to get like an actual horn.
Bigly.
Okay, so that's just the first day.
Oh dear.
We're good for time also. So day 2 begins. I wake up at 11:26. I got essentially 13 hours of sleep. The premiere Friday evening was at 7, about 21 minutes away from Eau Claire in Menominee. I was like, we're just going to relax, dude. Which was easy to do.
So did you spend time in Eau Claire?
I just spent time in Eau Claire. I essentially just relaxed in the hotel, watch YouTube videos. I watched YouTube videos. I went to Sammy's Pizza in Eau Claire. Wonderful. Absolutely incredible pizza. My taste buds are crying over here. Tantalized. Incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I had you saw the picture.
I did.
Incredible pizza. It was absolutely amazing. And you're thinking like, oh, well, what are you going to eat up in Wisconsin? I was just like, I'll just go get pizza.
All that cheese, man.
I almost got Domino's. I was like, I can get Domino's at home. I can't get Sammy's Pizza at home.
When we went to Chicago, we ate at Giordano's, which was incredible.
And I'm not a fan of deep dish. I like Brooklyn style more.
So their deep dish, really good. Really,
it has to be very good for me to like a deep dish.
Because I typically don't like deep dish either. Because usually it's typically, like very big chunks of tomato. Mm-hmm. Like more of like a sauce consistency almost.
Yeah.
But Giordano's, it's more of a sauce. It's just a thick sauce. But it's very good.
If you get good pizza's good.
We ate there twice.
Nice.
Incredible.
But yeah, lunch was incredible. I was like, all right, cool. After lunch, I'm just going to go get my car washed because it was 1,000 miles later.
Right.
It was like, it was a real messy boy, my car. And so I got it cleaned up. Though everything being motorized up there, like the roads are being sprawled out in like 4-lane traffic, like 4 on one side, 4 on the other side.
Right.
Just in a small city like that, was definitely very different. And they had car wash. They had lines of like going to a car wash of like people that hand wash your car, which you have to go to a big city to find that.
Right. Yeah,
and it was really surprising that like someone washed your car for me. I was like, well, I don't want that. I'll just go to one of the ones that's an automated machine. And so I got gas, got some change from lunch, and I spent $9 to get my car super washed, whatever. From a touchless wash. It's like jets only. This thing was made in like 1983. I swear, dude. It was like one jet went around your entire car, and it was like a power washer for like the entire way. It was the best.
You're lucky you didn't go back in time.
I am lucky I did not go back in time.
Never go 88 and a half miles an hour.
So I essentially burned like 5 hours in Eau Claire that day, and I was still exhausted. 12 hours of sleep, I was still exhausted. So I was like, all right, cool. 6:20 rolls around. I'm going to head over to meet Gus Johnson. I'm going to put on my Snapchat videos. I took videos and pictures and stuff. I'm going to put them on Instagram, Facebook, probably YouTube also as a big collage. Probably. I meet Gus Johnson, and I have the biggest, dumbest grin on my face. Dude, he is such a nice guy. Shout out to Gus Johnson if he ever hears this. He probably will because he's like actually active with his fans and stuff like that, which is hard to find these days. But just this picture is just great. It's just a great picture. You can find on my Instagram, my Twitter, and all that. And the show starts around 7:30. This show is so funny. Like the actual Par 9 program, it's really, really funny. It's just like dumb YouTube comedy, like in its prime.
And that's kind of a lost art. That's kind of a lost art nowadays.
It really is a lost art, and you can tell like that's his influence. Like second era YouTube,
right? There's
like
not a
2009,
lot of,
2011.
There's not really a lot of sketch comedy anymore.
And that's essentially all it was. Just like really funny, written out sketch comedy. And it was great. Meeting him was a dream come true. I play that song whenever I get back home, I think. And he's like, we have like 100 or so golf balls. Here's a Par 9 golf ball, and like I handed it to him, and he signed it, and he's like, cool, here you go. And I told him that I wanted to open SourceFed back up, another YouTube channel, but they got canceled earlier this year, March 2017. I said that's essentially the dream for me is to open up SourceFed, reopen up SourceFed. And he's like, cool, I hope our paths cross someday. And my heart was just like, I do too, Gus Johnson.
Marry me, please.
Please marry me. But day 2 ended around like 10:30. Another like almost 12-hour day.
Right.
And we're out of time. We're running out of time. Day 3, the journey home, is what I called it. It started around 9.
Elisha, day 3. Elisha goes west.
Elisha goes
east.
South.
Eastbound and down.
I wanted to make the day 3 joke, and I told Andrew, I asked Andrew, isn't day 3 like a Rooster Teeth show? And he said, yeah, why? I said, heck, I can't use that for a title for anything. And he said, you can name it the day after 2, but before 4.
That's so unnecessary.
It really is. So the day for day 3, the journey home, started like 9:30 or whatever. I was like, it's just a straight shot home. I'm not stopping in Chicago this time. That mistake was made once and once only. So open up my Red Bull, Eau Claire, checked out, put the key back on the desk, like, here you go. Mwah. See you guys. Probably never. I hope so. Motel 6, great. And Eau Claire, great. But like,
never see
it's 900 miles away.
Right, and it's such a Eau Claire's it's a little town.
It really is. It's a big town, but it's small. Like it's a retirement town or a college town. It's one or the other. I stopped. Grand total of gas 4 times up there, or 3 times up there for day 1. 1 time on day 2. 2 times day 3. I got less than. That's 8, right? 7? I'm not paying attention. I'm too tired. 7 gas stops for a 2,000-mile trip. My car, 2004 Mercedes CLK AMG 500, absolutely outperformed itself. And it still works, even though it's 1,000 miles over service. So I gotta take it to my German friends in Manchester to get that worked on. Post haste. It like every time I got into it, it's like, yo, you're over service. And I said, I know, I won't be back home for another 1,000 miles.
Please don't die on me, baby.
Please don't die on me. But it worked perfectly. For it being a sports car, doing very well. I would not take my car on another trip like that. Only because it's a cruising in town or like in-state sports car.
Right.
Not a Grand Tour.
No.
It's not a GT by means.
Definitely not.
Which was a mistake. Great. Love my car to death. I've had it for 2 years. I'm going to make a YouTube video about having my car for 2 years eventually. Not going to take it on a trip.
2 years later?
2 years later. The trip home, 2 years later. But, I mean, yeah, it was an absolutely wonderful trip. I'll make a collage of everything. You can go to my YouTube channel, Elisha Hunt. I might put it on the Third Opinion podcast.
So we can have it looping.
That'd be neat. That'd be interesting. Well, some of the videos like you have to hear. Like
watch along.
Yeah, my videos are safe to watch. So, but yeah, definitely a wonderful trip. I'm skimming over a lot of it, but like a lot of like the really gritty details. But we're out of time. I'm sure by a lot this time also, but it's fine. This is a one take boy. a one take Charlie, and that's how it goes. Me and Ethan, one take Charlie boys. And
if only it was a Tuesday, we'd have a one take Tuesday. But it's a Sunday.
I don't know what that is.
Single Sunday.
Ah.
Did it.
There we go.
New name.
Coined. And that's our third opinion for my trip that I went on to.
The 3rd day trip.
The 3-day trip. It is crazy that I spanned 2,000 miles in 3 days.
Pretty impressive.
Essentially 2,000 miles. Like I checked the trip odometer whenever I get back, and it's like, yeah, 1,980, 80 and like some change.
Those are some sore lumbars.
Mine or the cars?
Both. And boy, are my arms tired.
Yeah, I definitely need to get like that car is not meant for that kind of traveling. It did it just fine, but like definitely an AMG GT or an SLS, something like that would be better, or just like a big saloon car that's like made for that.
Like a 70s Cadillac.
Dude, you eat up so much gas getting 1,000 miles. You eat up so much gas just going to Nashville, 84 miles away.
Just going to the grocery store.
You eat up like gas. You have to fill up on the way there and back.
And this has been.
And we do appreciate you listening to the
3rd
opinion.
You're breaking up. We're breaking up. And this has been this week's episode of A Third Opinion. Mondays at 2.
At 2.
Fridays at 5.
Fridays at 5. Ethan, you done a good dumb boy. Thanks for listening to my story. You didn't talk any. That's fine, though. Let's not worry about that.
Next episode. Focusing on some movies.
Yeah. So
I've been hitting the cinema.
Yeah, definitely. I need to be watching some films.
I've been hitting the cinema.
Me too, definitely.
Flexing my eyeballs.
Uh-huh.
Have a good week.
See you guys next time on the Third Opinion podcast.